Mark Polk with RV Education 101. Today we're going to install a digital wireless backup camera in our camper van project. We're converting this 1978 van into a weekend off-grid camper van, so don't mind the mess, it's a work in progress. A wireless backup camera works good on vehicles that are less than 33 feet in length. When I updated the camera system on our motorhome, I used a wired system because the motorhome is 36 feet long. You can watch that installation video on our RV Education 101 YouTube channel. What I like about a digital wireless system is there's no interference. It operates on a digital frequency unique to each camera, which prevents interference. Let's start the installation right now. This is the camera system we are installing. Typically, these systems are tied into the vehicle's backup light circuit so the camera activates when you put the vehicle in reverse. To do that, you need to locate the backup light wiring on your vehicle to connect the wiring. We are not going to do a typical installation on our van camper. We are installing this system mainly for two reasons. One is when you're driving or backing, you can see what's happening behind you, and two is for security. When we camp in the van, we want the capability to see what is outside if we hear any odd noises. There are a couple of ways I could wire the system. One is to wire it to the ignition system, but the key would need to be on for the camera to work. The other is how I plan to do it. I'm going to take direct 12-volt power from the battery and wire it to a switch on the dashboard so the camera works whenever the switch is turned on. This way we can activate the camera anytime, day or night. Installation. You have a couple options when it comes to installing a backup camera. You can install the camera above or on the license plate, or you can mount it like an RV camera near the roof of the RV. I mentioned earlier, if you are using the camera system as intended, you need to locate the wiring for the backup lights to connect the wiring. I was repairing some wiring on the van, so it is all right here. All you need to do is identify the wire that gets 12 volts when the vehicle is in reverse. But as I mentioned, ours is not a conventional installation. I plan to mount the camera on the roof, and because it will operate on a switch, I do need to run the camera positive and negative wires to the dashboard. First, I need to decide where to mount the camera and then drill a hole large enough to run the camera and power cord through. I just painted the roof, so I'm going to use tape in case the drill bit moves at all. Now I can run the wires through the hole and up to the dash. We will secure the camera to the roof in a few minutes. It's convenient for me that the van is in the wiring stage of the project right now. If it wasn't, I would need to conceal the wiring probably underneath the vehicle alongside the frame and protect it from getting damaged. Fortunately, I can easily route the wiring to the front of the vehicle right now. When I was repairing the wiring under the dash, I labeled the wires so I knew what they were for and where they went. So I already identified a couple 12-volt wires from the battery source. I purchased this rocker switch panel to use for things like 12-volt dash fans, and it will work great for the camera too. I need to connect the 12-volt battery wire to the switch and the camera power cable to the other side of the switch and connect the camera ground to my ground. I'm only doing this temporarily for now so I can test the camera. I will make my final connections when I install the switch panel here in the dash. In a typical installation, you would connect the RCA cable to the camera's cable and run it to the vehicle's fuse box, but this switch panel already has fuses, so that is taken care of, and I have it grounded too. Mount the monitor. The system includes a mount for the monitor. I want to make sure the mount is secure and located where it's easy to view when driving and when parked. Next, you connect the RCA cable to the RCA output on the monitor. I am using the same power source as the camera to connect 12-volt power to the monitor. Mount the camera. With everything connected, the only thing left to do is mount the camera. My concern is to make sure the hole we made to run the wiring through is properly sealed. To do that, I am using silicone around the opening and butyl tape under the mount. Then I am using self-tapping screws with silicone on the threads to secure the camera to the roof. The final step of the installation is to test the operation of the system. In our case, that simply means turning the switch on and the camera should operate. Now you can adjust the camera angle for the best overall view. Because I wanted the camera to work by a switch, the installation was more complex, but I think you get the idea for what might be involved in your personal installation. Thanks for joining us today, and if you want to learn more about using and maintaining your RV, visit RVOnlineTraining.com. Happy camping.